Another second and short. Canes threatening to make it a one-possession game. Ward, a lot of room. He's going to run it. Cam Ward, open area. Touchdown, Miami. 24 yards on the run.
I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now.
Oh, I win. Google me.
We're not hosting an intergalactic kegger down here.
Well, that was a tremendous finish in a weekend of tremendous finishes and upsets. And that was Miami escaping. Basically the only road top 10 team that escaped the entire weekend, and they needed every last second to do it.
Is this the Michael Irvin all fours?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the game.
Yes, that's right, it is.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I do. I'm not even
Just
say it.
The playmaker was at late in that game. I think it was a back issue. I think it started to flare up on him. And so he's on the sidelines of the game, and he's on all fours.
Oh, yeah.
This would be how you would be doing a segment.
Yeah.
You should get the mic down on the ground.
I know that move
with your
for
back.
sure.
Dude, with like 10 minutes to go, it was a 20-point game, and Cal had the ball. And they still somehow wind up losing this game to Miami 39-38 in just a crazy game. And they would have been, every year, we talk about this, every single year there is that one Saturday where all hell breaks loose. And this was it. This was that Saturday. And you either wanted to be at home playing or on a bye or, really playing like a team that had like no business at all.
Like Vanderbilt or something.
Right, like Vanderbilt. Because Vanderbilt, obviously, 40-35, winner over top-ranked Bama in a game Sean was at. Bama had no. I mean, you should never lose at Vandy. Like, it's not there's no atmosphere there. There's no atmosphere to lose a game that Nick Saban talked about. That's why they played it on the Jumbotron after the game. That it's the only place in the conference that isn't tough. So fourth-ranked Tennessee loses on the road at Arkansas. They were up 14-3 in the fourth. They had no business losing. They didn't even get a playoff at the end. They didn't even throw the ball. The quarterback runs out of bounds.
Oh, different.
That's as an egregious a brain fart as you can have at the quarterback position.
Crazy. True freshman, or not true freshman. He was a redshirt freshman. Second road game, fifth game,
running out of bounds.
But
as
running
time
out of
expires.
bounds seems like
on
that.
fourth down.
I can't remember what sport that is.
It was fourth down.
It was fourth down.
Yeah, it was like there was nothing left to do.
Right.
What are you doing running the ball? You need to throw it.
Yeah. You got the first down.
Very Peyton Manning versus Florida looking.
Yeah, it was. It really was. By the way, Miami, they were down 35-10 at one point in that game.
Ooh, almost like an SEC school or something.
Absolutely.
Second attempt.
So, ninth-ranked Missouri had karma come back and bite them. They banned the quarterback's sister. Huh?
What conference are they in? Missouri?
They're in the SEC.
Oh, okay.
You haven't taken the bait yet. Good. It's 0 for 3.
I'm a master at it. He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
That didn't matter. They lose 41-10 to A&M on the road. A&M now is like barely plus money to make the college football playoff. After they lose to Notre Dame at home in a game it was back and forth till the very, very end, they've rattled off some wins. They brought their quarterback back. Connor Waywood was back this week. Had a really nice game, and they completely boat raced a Missouri team that almost lost to Vandy a couple of weeks earlier.
Yeah, Missouri, they're fraudulent.
11th ranked USC loses on the road at Minnesota 24-17. And then Michigan somehow was still 10th ranked. They're a terrible team. They have no business.
Yeah.
And they lose on the road to Washington 27-17. So all these teams that lost.
And number 22, Louisville, lost to SMU.
And they lost to SMU. But all these teams that lost were road teams, right? All the teams I mentioned were road teams. Two of them were playing in like hostile environments. So was Miami. They were playing also in a game. That was a hostile environment. And it started at 10 o'clock Miami time. 10:15, really. So, Bobby, their circadian sleep with them was all off.
That's why Irvin couldn't stand up anymore. Them old bones.
That's right. Big shake-up weekend in college football. But here's my issue with it. And this, and my school lost, and I woke up in the middle of the night on Saturday night, Sunday morning. And I just couldn't go back to sleep. And then I thought, I was like, what? I don't really know how to feel. Because in years past, you lose that game, you are done.
Mm-hmm.
And now with a 12-team playoff, all it is it's like, all right, you can only now lose one more game. You don't have 2 do-overs. You just now have 1 more do-over. And it's a great feeling, and it's also ripping my soul apart because I don't know how to feel.
Were you furious and devastated after the loss?
I was just more like, what is going on? Like, what happened? Because we were 14-3 in the fourth. Like, they lose their quarterback, too.
Right.
Their quarterback got knocked out. And it was just like, I don't know what we were doing. It was one of the worst game plans I've seen. They were just run. And it made absolutely no sense. I was pretty dejected.
And all that leads to the Texas Longhorns, who had off getting 52 out of 61 first-place votes and becoming, Pepe and Bobby, the first team in 2 years to bounce in and out of the top spot in a span of 3 polls. This is going to be Bobby from last week. The Longhorns also were just the 3rd team since 2008 to be voted number 1 after not playing the day before.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And you had said this was a joke that the Longhorns got bumped out. Bobby Belt, you have the floor. Chiafalo, you are going to be the judge here.
Yeah. First off, I take issue with you even including Peyton's name in this.
Sure.
He is cut out. He is not included in this any longer. No, it was funny. You know, they win against Mississippi State. They go in there, and the AP voters are like, yeah, but you beat an SEC school. How impressive is that? And so they obviously knocked them out of first place. Then they have a week off. I love that they don't lose and they get bumped out of first place. Then they don't win, and it's like, we'll put them back in first because clearly the SEC is such a trash legacy, like Dallas Cowboys old school hype, like people leaning on what it was 30 years ago type of thing. And now it's Texas is back in their rightful spot at number 1, bringing legitimacy to just a joke of a conference that has cultish-like behavior. And you should feel happy. You said you were conflicted. You should feel happy. You should feel happy knowing that even though Tennessee lost, they're no longer in a group of 5 conference. They're in a legitimate conference with what Texas has brought to the table.
I mean,
so your overall premise is that the Texas Longhorn brand is bigger than the SEC.
Yes. When that was going on earlier, there was this headbutting all off season about, okay, well, you know, SEC seems to be trying to assert their dominance, and Texas is like, we still do what we do, all right? You guys are not going to encroach on our brand, and SEC's like...
Not win?
SEC's...
do?
Well, I mean, that would fit into the SEC, right? They didn't win this week. So anyway, Choppy, it's my turn now. You talked, you ran right through those scores each time without me letting stop down to talk about the SEC, so you're not going to do it now. Anyway, yeah, I think it's one of those things where Texas and the SEC both try to assert their brands. What we're seeing is that Texas is bigger than the SEC. Texas is the SEC at this point.
Listen,
you are why people hate Texas fans, and I'll take it for you for a second. Tag me in. You are a freaking moron. You're a stupid idiot. You're an arrogant idiot, too, on top of it. That makes it even worse.
Come on. Defend the Confederate Conference here.
The SEC would be totally just fine without you guys around in it. You are the Dallas Cowboys. That's true. Well, your brand is not as big as the Dallas Cowboys. It's actually slightly insulting to the Cowboys to think that the Texas Longhorns are there.
Well, because Texas wins. And they wins what? And they win convincingly.
What? You don't win Texas what?
Win convincingly. Win convincingly.
Convincingly what?
You haven't played anybody.
What are you talking about? We haven't played anybody. Is Arkansas somebody?
Not really. No. It's a road game, at least.
Don't have to worry about Arkansas. Texas isn't going to have to worry about Vanderbilt. Texas sure as hell isn't going to have to worry about Oklahoma or Georgia or any of these other fake-ass legacy schools. It's fine. Tell me about the Cleveland Browns and their pre-Super Bowl championships, Chop. Go ahead.
Why are you crapping on the conference you went to?
Literally.
Because we came to bless the conference with our presence and our legitimacy.
Literally has won, I think, 16 of the last 19 championships. It's not some legacy
living
conference.
In the past.
By the way,
he lost
only you could think this was a bad weekend for the conference. How is it a bad weekend when teams near the bottom upset the teams near the top?
Yeah.
It shows the depth, you moron.
Well, it's like what do you mean, you moron? I'm just objective here.
You're not objective.
I'm objectively looking at it, Chop.
And a bad troll at that.
Your likability.
I don't know what you're talking about here.
Your likability took such a turn back.
I don't.
Objectivity bounces off me like ping pong balls.
Look. I think it's fairly clear. You just talked about A&M and the one loss they had. Well, they lost to independent Notre Dame, and that's just because
A&M.
Yeah, that's why A&M this week they were able to win because it was another SEC school. They were able to have success there. They would have, if it would have been a Notre Dame again, they would have lost probably.
Nobody cared about the Big 12. and nobody cares
And they
about.
still don't.
I'm talking about the last 3 to 5 years. Nobody cared.
Because Texas was the Big 12.
Well,
Just like
but here's
Texas
the
is
other
now
thing.
the SEC.
With
It's-
Oklahoma as the better, more successful
Yeah,
team.
Oklahoma's been more successful. And listen,
You're stepchild in the Big 12.
Texas is, without question, I believe, the best team in the country. They should 100% be the number one team in the nation and the favorites to win it all. And I do believe they will win it all. I'm interested to see what happens as the years go on. Maybe not just this year, but as the years go on. Because Texas has never played an actual road game. The Big 12, when an SEC fan sees a Big 12 stadium, they're like, cool, where's the rest of it? Right? Like, that's what it is. Like, where's the rest of this thing? It sees like 70,000 people.
Yeah.
We call that Vandy. You know, you got to play a real road game, and you'll play a real road game. This year, you got a very good schedule this year. Almost all your games, your tough games are at home. You got Georgia at home. You got to go to Arkansas. Shouldn't be crazy. A&M is
Going to Arkansas was pretty tough for you.
It was. Yeah. I mean, look, that's what happens, when you got a freshman quarterback out there. You're not going to have that
Which
worry.
Texas has had the last couple weeks and
Right,
won without
home
issue.
games. Home games, cool against UTSA and
You don't even like Arch Manning.
yeah. You got
I
home
know,
games.
and that should tell you just how dominant we are.
Yeah, but you got home games. I'm not impressed.
What college team you root for?
I always rooted for the Miami Hurricanes.
Oh,
So
really?
that was always the team that I rooted for, and so that's been a disaster.
Hey,
really a
we're
college
both
program.
2-0 this
That's
week.
been,
Knuckleballs.
He wants to be on South
baby.
Beach
He
so
wants to be on
bad.
South Beach so bad.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Yeah, I know. Well, my
Canes.
dad's from Miami, so it was just that was always the
okay.
case. But unfortunately, the Dolphins and the Hurricanes have sucked basically my entire life, so it's kind of worn off.
Do you think Texas, no doubt, is the best team in the country?
I do.
Did
I
you
think
have a problem when Bama jumped to 1?
I didn't have an issue with it when Bama jumped to 1, just because of the resumes at the time.
Yeah, you got to
Sure,
use
the phony resume
information.
beating another SEC team.
You have to use the information at the time that you have. And at the time, Bama had the best win in the sport throughout the course of the year. There hadn't been a better win.
Okay, let's stop the trolling for just a second. What is the
Yeah,
case
let's.
is that Bama has for 4 straight weeks trailed. They were always a phony team, and that was obvious. And the AP just decided in their head, whoever wins this game, we're jumping them. Just like last year at the end of the year, they went, whoever wins this game, Georgia or Alabama, we're just jumping them.
hang
It's the
on.
default. It's stupid with that program, which has not been Alabama for 3
Yes, they
effing
have.
years.
Yeah, they have. You just don't let the
No, they
quarterback
haven't.
because he's
What
not
do you mean? What do you mean they have been? What do you mean
were
they
in the
have been that
Final
program for the
Four
last 3 years?
year in overtime. You want to calm down?
No.
College football kegger on 105.3 The Fan. It's
It's been this
Tuesday.
argument for a year, and it's
Bobby,
wrong.
they were in the Final Four against the team that
They
won the
should
title.
not have been.
Who should have been
Who
over
should have
that?
been?
It should have been Georgia.
They
Even
literally
though
beat Georgia the week
But
before
it
in the
didn't
conference
matter.
championship
Georgia
game.
was a better team.
At some point, look, I understand. And I think Georgia was a better team than they were last year.
Then why weren't they in?
Because
Why
the
didn't you
game
think they should have been
mattered,
in there?
Bobby.
The
The
game
game mattered.
Yeah.
That's why. The game actually on the field mattered. And it would have been the same thing if Bama got in over Texas. The game would have mattered. They shouldn't have gotten in over Texas, and they didn't. But you got to have the game has to matter at some point, right? Am I just nuts here?
No, you're not nuts.
All right, thank you.